Just know that this is a threshold that every seeker has had to cross. Jesus had to, and so did Buddha. Each had their temptations that they had to overcome. And they were identical. Right before he went through his enlightenment, he was confronted with Mara, which would be, the equivalent of the devil. And Mara came to him, and the first thing he did was he paraded his daughters in front of Buddha, and they were gorgeous. This was just this temptation. Said, "Hey, what are you doing sitting around? Look at these beautiful women here. They're my daughters. You can have them, all of them." And Buddha said, "No, I'm not here for that." And this is equivalent to when the first temptation that Jesus got was, "Hey, you're the Son of God. Turn these stones into bread," because he'd been fasting for 40 days. So it's still on the appetite level, right? We're still talking about appetite, sexual appetite, food appetite, whatever your comfort, whatever. It's the appetites of the body. And so the next thing that Mara confronted Buddha with was, he arrayed his army, and they were all archers, and they shot their arrows all at Buddha. And here are these thousands of arrows coming at him, and he's sitting there under the tree. But as they came close, they all turned into flowers and just dropped in front of him. You see? And what was the second temptation of Jesus? The devil took him up onto a high mountain, up on the temple, and said, "Hey, you're the Son of God. Throw yourself off, because God will send his angels to catch you." And Jesus said, "No." And so there, it's the same thing. It's fear, right? First temptation is the temptation of appetites. Second temptation is that of fear. But both Mara and the devil in our story save the best for last, because Buddha, who was Siddhartha at that point, was the son of a king, and the king, Siddhartha's father, was really upset that he had chosen this path, because he had been a seer had prophesied that Siddhartha would either grow up to be a great king or a great teacher. But since his father was the king, he didn't want any of the religion stuff. He wanted him to be a king. He wanted him to succeed him on the throne. So he did everything in his power to prevent Siddhartha from going down that path, but he failed. So Siddhartha's there, but Mara says, "Why are you here doing this? Why aren't you sitting on the throne so that all of your good intent, that you can actually put into practice what you want for mankind? You can actually make a difference." You see, so he's appealing to his sense of duty. And what did the devil tell Jesus? Exactly the same thing. He said, "If you bow down and worship me, I will give you all the kingdoms of the world." It's just a recapitulation of the same thing. And it's like this sense of duty, this sense of this righteousness. Who better to do the job, right? This is really the playing to Jesus's pride, saying, the devil is saying, "You've got it all together. You are smart enough to do this. You could rule the world if you just do what I say." So this is the pride. So now the key to these two stories is to understand that Jesus is you and Buddha is you. And the very same three temptations that they went through, you will go through. Or maybe you've already gone through them. You're gonna be tempted to choose physical comfort and satisfaction over doing the spiritual work. You're going to be tempted by fear. Things will start to get real, and you're going to go, "Whoa, this is more than this is more real than I thought it was going to be." And the where that shows up is when your own shadows start to start to show up. But they show up not to tempt you. Yeah, they kind of are, but it's more to so that they can be integrated, right? So that you can take these dark things inside of you and integrate them. And it's like the shamanic soul retrieval, where you've got all these pieces that are out there that are ignored or stuffed, hidden from view because you don't want to admit that they're part of you. And what then you need to do is take them and say, yes, this is me, this is part of me, welcome home, come in. And now uh, we're going to assimilate you and turn your energy into good energy, you see. But you can't do that by keeping your foot on their throat. So, and then, but those are easy compared to what comes along next, because once you get spiritual power going and your mind lights up and your heart opens and you become charismatic and people start to really pay attention to you and are drawn to you, man, can that go to your head? That is serious trouble time. So, but then that's why these stories were written. They're not written so that you can understand what these people went through 2,500, 2,000 years ago. No, they're written so that you can know what to expect in your own life. So then again, you can, when your teachers start, or when your students start coming to you and offering you all kinds of, benefits, just realize that's the way it works. That's what happens. But if you're forewarned, you're forearmed, and you can stand your ground, because it's not easy ignoring that kind of attention. So you continually, it's, being a teacher, you continually have to subtly undermine that and keep redirecting people towards what they're really after, which is God, not you. They may think that they're after you, because that's just human. That's what people do. That's what everyone does. That you, me, everybody. You keep redirecting them toward God. And if you know ahead of time that that's what's going to happen, it's a lot easier to do, because it doesn't go to your head that way. It'll still go to your head to some degree, but if you start with that level of honesty, then if it does start going to your head, you're going to get slapped down that much sooner, which is for everybody's benefit, right? Because you don't want to get to the point where you think you're the cat's meow, and then somebody's going to let the dogs out. That can be very messy. Believe me, it can be very messy. You don't want to go there.